Good morning, ladies and gentlemen who are joining us today from the UK. Dan selamat sore, Bapak Ibu yang bergabung dari Indonesia. Welcome to the official launch event of the new UK-Indonesia Education Partnership Projects. My name is Maria Arsandi. I am the English Program Manager at the British Council Indonesia, and I will be the host for our event today. Before we begin, I would like to greet our distinguished panelists today, Sir Steve Smith, UK International Education Champion, Bapak Iwan Syahril, Director General Teacher and Education Personnel, Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, Hugh Moffat, Country Director, British Council Indonesia, and representatives from the UK and Indonesian Education Partnerships projects. I would also like to greet all the other honorable guests today from the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, Dr. Lukman, Director of Organization Management, and the other representatives. On today's occasion, the British Council Indonesia, supported by the Ministry of Education and the UK Department of International Trade, will proudly announce a total of 16 new projects, 8 under English Digital Innovation Grants, and 8 undergoing Global Partnership Grants. These projects will focus on strengthening higher education and TVET partnerships and support professional development for English teachers in schools and lecturers in higher education institutions. Without further ado, to officially start our event today, I would like to welcome Sir Steve Smith to give his welcoming remarks. Sir Steve Smith, the time is yours.
Thanks very much indeed. Thanks you, Maria, and good afternoon to everyone in Indonesia. It's nice to be back again after a week since we were last meeting. Particularly good to see you all again so soon. And good morning to all those joining for the UK in this rather chilly winter morning. It's a morning with massive wind problems here in England and Scotland in particular. I was up in the north of England yesterday where the winds were nearly 80 miles an hour. So it's an odd day here today, but we're all much more happy because we're working with people like you in Indonesia. So thank you. So let me just start by saying the obvious thing, and it's marvelous to see colleagues in Indonesia again so soon, having been on a call with many of you last week. Particularly good to see you again so soon, Pak Iwan Syahril, the Director General of Teaching and Education Personnel. I joined Iwan, of course, for the initial launch of the Digital Innovation Grants in September, which, following which the partnerships to be announced today were selected. And I must say, for the record, that I've found the recent engagements between the UK and Indonesia particularly enlightening and incredibly positive for our long-term partnership. So thank you to everyone in the UK and in Indonesia for the warmth and the positivity of the relationship. I'd like to offer in particular my thanks to the British Council Indonesia, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, and colleagues in DIT for initiating the 2 initiatives that we're launching today, the Going Global Partnerships projects to encourage mutually beneficial HE partnerships between the UK and Indonesia, and the UK-Indonesia English Digital Innovation Grants, exploring innovative online solutions for supporting English teaching professional development and improving the quality of the teaching of English in the classroom. These are both crucial areas for Indonesia and are really at the core of the bilateral relationship between our 2 countries. With 8 million students in higher education in Indonesia, it's incredibly important to get things right at the teaching framework level. And the UK has a long-standing commitment to support the ambitions of Indonesia in education. Since last summer, I've had the pleasure of co-chairing 2 productive and enlightening UK-Indonesia working groups, most recently with Secretary General Suharti Sutar. Prominent on our agenda, we're exploring ways in which we could help encourage and drive capacity of Indonesian universities for international partnerships and upskill on English language training in both schools and universities. The 2 excellent initiatives we have today and the selected bilateral partnerships are key strands of that. And there are linkages between the 2, including the advantages of strong ELT capability prior to studying for an academic or vocational qualification. In many countries of the world, including through distance learning, which has accelerated since the pandemic. And this, I think, will remain a fixture for what will become the new normal times we're going to live in. In addition, there are an increasing number of academic programs run in English in Indonesia, and it's essential that both lecturers delivering these international course programs and their students have a strong level of English language proficiency. English isn't just the language of science, it's also incredibly important for international commerce. And within that, it's a great lever to get more people of all ages on the path to sustainable education, to the world of work, and continuing professional development. Our Prime Minister places great importance on helping to lay the foundations for increased numbers of girls and women in education, with the ultimate aim of greater job prospects and mobility for women, and developing stronger options to study at tertiary level and English language competence will have a very important role to play in that. So I've managed as International Education Champion to start visiting some of the countries within my remit, including most recently engagements in the UAE and in Saudi Arabia. And I aim to be in Indonesia and then Vietnam later this year, where I'll be leading a selection of top UK universities for impactful discussions with Indonesian counterparts. I'm really excited about this, including from a personal point of view, as it will allow me to experience the diverse nature of your truly wonderful country, reflected by the audience here. But it's great to meet you virtually, but it will be even better to come back again to Indonesia to meet you firsthand. I very much look forward to hearing the outcomes of these partnerships and the progress of key milestones. And from there, how can we leverage them as part of our wider education relationship? So thank you everyone for joining this meeting. Thank you very much for everyone who's been involved in these projects. And thank you to all the participants who've helped develop a really strong relationship between Indonesia and the UK. So thank you, and back to you, Maria.
Thank you. Thank you, Sir Steve Smith, for your welcoming remarks. We are very grateful for your continuous support and the great commitment you make towards strengthening the education partnerships between the UK and Indonesia. Next, I would like to welcome Country Director of the British Council Indonesia, Hugh Moffat. Hugh will announce and introduce the 16 UK-ID education partnerships projects. Hugh, the time is yours.
Thanks very much, everyone. Yes, I'm Hugh, British Council Country Director here in Jakarta, Indonesia, and great to see all the different places that are coming up on the chat. I can't keep count, but West Borneo popped up in front of me, certainly, and I think I saw somewhere in Spain, but I could be wrong. So great to see so many people here. Just a weather update for us. It's rainy, but it's warm. It makes a big difference, I can tell you, especially when you go out and get wet. Very enjoyable. So thank you very much for joining today. Yes, we're announcing at British Council and launching our 8 new Going Global partnerships and our 8 new English digital innovation projects. And this is a result of the fantastic engagement that we have with Sir Steve Smith as International Education Champion. Thank you so much for coming today, Sir Steve. And of course, this continues the discussion of the joint working group and is an example of actual implementation from that policy discussion. So thank you very much to you. And of course, to Bapak Dr. Iwan Syahril, thank you very much, Director General of Teacher and Education Personnel. Very important to have you as a key person in terms of capacity building, responsible for this huge network of education across Indonesia as part of this discussion. And again, thank you. It's good that you're here, having been there at the launch of the Digital Innovation Fund in the first place. And to Bapak Wakan Sakarinto, the Director General of Vocational Education, also joining us today. Thank you. And of course, there's a whole range of other people that I don't have time to comment on, but thank you all for all the friendship from the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology here today. Welcome also to the people who are doing the work and who have put all the hard work into the proposals. Thank you so much to all the United Kingdom and Indonesian partners. Later we'll be hearing from some of you. Sadly, not all. My job is to try and summarize in less than 10 minutes what that all comes to, so wish me luck. There's some unbelievable projects within this and I may not do justice. But of course, welcome to everyone else who's interested in education, who's joined, who wants to know what's going on and how to engage internationally. You'll see some amazing stories, and here's the opportunities that go beyond these very projects. So let me tell you about our Going Global partnerships and English digital innovation. Let's start with Going Global Partnerships. And here you can see a nice slide which does give some colour to what we're doing, certainly colourful. But as we know, transnational education has become increasingly important as we've come through, and hopefully we're coming through this pandemic. We're seeing more and more innovation of universities working together, and transnational education enables those stronger ties between the UK and Indonesia. And these programs continue that trend. But what else can we do? This is what we're going to find out with these 8 new partnerships, which we hope will increase the scale and effectiveness of transnational education. Basically, higher education delivered jointly by national and international universities to students in home countries, for example, Indonesia or the UK. Each of the partnerships is different, and we've got some themes coming through, of course, in science and health, blue and green economy and environment, a range of different projects. But just to pick out, they're in different stages, these different subject areas of this transnational education journey. For example, in scoping terms, we have the first look at UI and King's College are assessing the viability of a branch in the Singasari Special Economic Zone. So that's right from the beginning, root and branch. Let's see if we can make that work. Good luck with that. And just the other day, we were starting to say, can we come out and visit, as most of us are all in the elements of lockdown in Jakarta, maybe in the next month, visits will be possible. So it'll be very exciting for us to come and see some of these places, having been stuck as we have been because of the situation with the pandemic. So scoping is one group. Another set of universities are very much focused on curriculum mapping. Anglia Ruskin, Middlesex and Edinburgh are all partnered with UGM on different health disciplines. Heriot Watt and Nottingham with ITS Surabaya and IT Dell in North Sumatra, focusing on blue economy and sustainable transport. And in Edinburgh University and Indonesia Islamic University, looking at a globalized Muslim world. Those are looking at curriculum mapping, and the third group, or the third more advanced group, or a group of its own, is Dundee and I3L, who have a first cohort on dual degree in life sciences planned for September, with the first bunch of students, so that would be very exciting. And we welcome Kemdikbud, Ministry of Education, support for the necessary approvals in the coming months. Thank you. So that's our Going Global higher education focus. And now moving to our English digital innovation projects. As mentioned, we've had Dr. Sheril and Steve who presented or launched the open call last autumn, where we had that in partnership with DIT. Thank you, DIT colleagues on the call too today. And that focused very much to strengthen professional development for English teachers in schools and lecturers in higher education. ELT companies, EdTech companies, universities were invited to partner and bid for grants. And here we now have our 8 fantastic digital innovation projects. Like all these bids, there are so many more we could have supported and funded, but there's a limit. So let's find out, how can we get more of these opportunities off the ground? But congratulations to these 4. So focusing on the 4 on schools, Bell and Satyawacana University, as one example, are working on English in the Soe region of Eastern Indonesia. This is very much a focus on rural, remote, low tech, a theme that a second project which is called Nusantara Go, which is between Pear Tree and Dongput Duasa. That again is also working in 8 rural areas. So it's important when we look at English, we focus so much on digital, but actually low-tech digital and low-tech ways of doing English are areas that are absolutely of importance in a country the size of Indonesia, with the difference in opportunity across the country. The diversity was the word I was looking for, but I couldn't remember the word. So that's one group of opportunity partners. So thank you for those. Then we move to ELT Consultants and ITEL, a Digi project, 300 secondary English teachers, again, building their capacity. We'll see more on that. Nile ELT and Eduversal, localizing 3 Nile online courses. Nile, very famous, of course, international quality standard English. We'll be hearing from Mike Riley as one of the presenters later. He'll be telling us a bit more about that. But like everything else, all these partnerships, all these organizations are the best that are in the UK, and there are more small companies that are interested in expanding and engaging with Indonesia. There's such a huge demand, but there's a huge interest from the UK too. So let's see how more we can do. So that's on schools. And then If we then look at university, or sorry, at schools rather, looking at Polytechnic Negeri, Pontianak and Malang, working with Glasgow, Reading and Edinburgh University to develop MOOCs. Again, there's a huge growth in MOOCs in Indonesia, but again, that quality of teaching, the need for teachers to teach in English, that capacity building is something there that will be enabled through this partnership. With UE and Sheffield, EMI capacity building, pairing lecturers together. Again, a good opportunity there for engaging individuals to work together. City of Glasgow and Polytechnic Negeri Batam. This is a project already supported through the UK Skills for Prosperity Fund, but our project again is looking at teaching resources for EMI, so supporting a wider project funded by the UK government. So how can we help with that? And finally, University of York and University Pendidikan Bandung, looking at English for academic purposes. So if you look at the array of partners, we have organisations working across the nations of the UK and across the diversity of Indonesia, all working to support and work together on partnership in English and in higher education. So this is very much what we're doing now, but there's lots more potential. I mean, just to give one example, and this is a shout out to, again, University of Nottingham was mentioned in one of the partnerships ongoing global. There is an organisation called UK-ICIS with 3 UK universities and 3 Indonesian universities, set up by Indonesian diaspora in the UK, focused on science. They are working now with RISPRO, a new funded project for research from Indonesia, and they are looking to promote that in the UK. So there's another example of something that we are helping to support, an Indonesian priority through an existing partnership, UK-ICIS. And so a shout out to Pak Bagus if he's on the call. That's another conversation we want to develop and build on, as well as these wonderful partnerships that we have here. So these give you an illustration of the connections we have now. There are plenty more to be made. We wish you the best of luck for your partnerships. And what we want to know most is, how are they going? We want to be able to bring them to these kind of forums, to bring colour to the policy conversations that we have, because those are important to Steve and Dr. Sharil and Ibu Suhati. But we also need to demonstrate this partnership is moving, the UK-Indonesia is strengthening, and you are the people that will demonstrate that. So we really want to see how you're doing, how can we help, how can we unblock? So once again, thank you to the Ministry of Education for your incredible support in this exercise, and we wish everyone all the best. And on that note, I pass back to the fabulous Maria, to you, Maria. Thank you.
Thank you, Hugh. Thank you for introducing the selected projects to us. Now, to officially launch all the 16 projects, I would like to invite and welcome Bapak Iwan Syahril, Director General Teacher and Education Personnel, Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, to officially welcome and launch all the 16 projects. Bapak Iwan, the time is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon to colleagues from Jakarta, Indonesia, and good morning to our colleagues in the UK. Honorable Professor Sir Steve Smith, the UK International Education Champion, Mr. Hugh Moffat, the Director of British Council Indonesia, my dearest colleagues from the UK, British Embassy, and British Council Indonesia in Jakarta, my dearest colleagues from the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology Indonesia, grantees of UK-Indonesia Education Partnerships, UK and Indonesia's local partners and universities, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, let me congratulate both countries on the launching of the UK-Indonesia Education Partnership Grants. It is indeed my pleasure to be part of this ongoing sustainable cooperation. The educational cooperation between Indonesia and the UK has been established for many years. In 2012, we started cooperation in the field of education, and in 2016, we extended our partnership to the area of higher education. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia has the vision to develop a competitive human capital. To achieve this, we designed various policies to ensure that the access to quality education and to improve the educators' capacity. However, such effort cannot be made by the government alone. We, the Indonesian government, need to collaborate and go forward together in realizing this vision. The grants that are launched today, the UK Indonesia Going Global Partnership Grants and the English Digital Innovation Grants are relevant to our policy. It also demonstrates collaboration between countries, between the Indonesia and the UK and their institutions, universities in both the UK and Indonesia. We hope that the programs, these grants, can lead to a more robust collaboration, can create more high capacity teachers, and ensure effective learning in schools and higher education institutions. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, we believe our collaborations will lead to a better understanding of the two countries. Through those collaborations, we hope we can continue our progress to achieve inclusive and equitable quality education and the promotion of lifelong learning for all. With the spirit of the G20 this year under Indonesia presidency, we call for the global community to strengthen the spirit of solidarity and partnership to recover together and recover stronger. In education, we will strengthen our commitment to the Sustainable Development Goals, especially the SDG 4, the inclusive education for all, and we need to reimagine a much better education ecosystem so we can better serve our students and their learning needs in this era of disruption. To conclude my speech, I would like to give my highest appreciation to Professor Sir Steve Smith and Mr. Hugh Moffat and all the UK and Indonesian colleagues for your dedication to this program. Once again, congratulations to all the grantees, and we would be very keen to hear your success stories in the coming months. Thank you, stay safe, stay healthy. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Bapak Iwan Syahril, for officially launching and welcoming our 16 selected projects undergoing global partnerships and English digital innovations. Now, British Council highly appreciates your kind support and our long-term partnerships, and we hope that through these projects, we will be able to further support the Ministry of Education priorities in supporting the professional development of teachers, lecturers, and creating new international higher education partnerships. Now we will hear from several UK and Indonesian representatives from these projects. These are the leaders, the education experts who are designing and implementing the successful project plans. Today, we are joined by 5 representatives. We have 3 from our Going Global Partnerships projects and 2 from our English Digital Innovation projects. First, we will start with Going Global Partnerships, and I would like to welcome Professor Helen Bailey, Deputy Vice President, Global Business Development from King's College London. Professor Bailey, the time is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon to colleagues in Indonesia, and good morning to us here in a rather cold and blustery UK. Thank you for the time. Delighted to be part of the launch event today. And on behalf of King's College London, very, very pleased to be part of this scheme. So King's College London is committed to the development of a globally engaged education in London and internationally. So the opportunity to participate in this scheme with the support of the British Council to develop our relationship further in Indonesia is extremely welcome. Our Going Global Partnerships project builds on our relationship with the Singhasari Special Economic Zone, which was initially fostered through interactions with the Department for International Trade. So for those of you who aren't aware of the Singhasari Special Economic Zone, it's one of 18 government-approved economic zones in Indonesia, and it's situated in East Java with a focus on digital economy and tourism. So together with that partner and our university partner, the University of Indonesia, our project is focused on exploring place-based solutions for international education through the scoping of the development of a branch joint campus for the delivery of education at Singhasari Special Economic Zone. So our scoping study will explore a multidisciplinary approach to the digital economy, and it will focus on areas such as tourism, fintech, medtech, digital and creative technologies. And the focus for our development is through a kind of entrepreneurial exploration of curriculum and it will draw on strengths of both university partners and from the point of view of King's College London, our Institute for Entrepreneurship, which is curricular, co-curricular and extracurricular focused in its approach to developing an entrepreneurial mindset. So we're utilising the strengths of King's in entrepreneurial focused education and the University of Indonesia. And the project is very much around scoping place-based solutions. So looking at the local and regional demands for education to support workforce development and the growth of digital economy in the East Java region. So the sorts of outcomes that we're looking at are probably across the board in terms of place-based transnational education in undergraduate and postgraduate talk provision, but also importantly in relationship to continuing professional development and micro-credentials to really support and develop the workforce and the ecosystem for digital economies in East Java. So the project will undertake a series of workshop events, bringing together the partners, internal stakeholders from those three organisations, and external stakeholders from the education and employer ecosystem within East Java to develop a demand-led education offer supported by University of Indonesia and King's College London. The project will culminate in a symposium event, which we plan to host in Indonesia. That symposium will draw out the findings of our project, the successes, and hopefully the next steps for implementation of the project. We'd also like to extend an invite for the symposium to colleagues from the projects that are within the scheme, so that we can explore the successes of all projects within the scheme within the context of UK-Indonesia education partnership relationships. So we're really excited to be part of the scheme, very much looking forward to our project and to being part of this significant strategic development in the relationship. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Bailey. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Yodi Mahendra Datta from the University of Gadjah Mada in Yogyakarta. Dr. Mahendra Datta, the time is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. It's really a privilege and an honor for us to be able to be part of this launch. So I'm speaking here on behalf of Universitas Gadjah Mada, and our project is building on our relationship with our colleagues at Middlesex University, led by Professor Huan Nguyen. So our project basically is built on the lessons which we've learned together during this pandemic, in which we see that our health system, be it the UK health system or the Indonesian health system, needs to be more resilient for shocks, for crises, for emergencies. And we need to transform our health system. And part of that transformation is digital transformation. So that's why we both together as two teams work together to develop this project, which is about developing connected curriculum on digital twins for health system resilience. So the purpose is basically to develop a connected curriculum structure on digital twin technology for strengthening health system resilience. That's the first one. Second one is to perform a student-centered approach to increase students' learning experience using digital blended delivery. And third, of course, we want to enhance transnational education collaborations between UK and Indonesia through capacity building to joint curriculum development. So for this 2 years project, what we hope to achieve at the end as outputs are, first, we want to have a curriculum structure of digital twin health system resilience in graduate course, include joint teaching program between UK and Indonesia, also have faculty members exchange program within the 2 years, and then to have workshops on digital twins and public health in the pandemic's era. And fourth is to deliver a massive open online course for other universities and policy makers, and also to have dissemination activities such as digital education on areas of digital education, digital twin, and digital learning. So we've laid out quite an ambitious objective, but we believe it's achievable. We've laid out a very detailed plan, and we believe we have a strong team collaborating again with the team at Middlesex University, led by Professor Puan Nguyen, and our team. It's really a good synergy. Professor Nguyen's team is the world-leading team for digital twinning, while our team is more for the health system resilience. So it's a very nice combination, and it's very good chemistry. And on top of that, we also, of course, have other strategic partners who are on board. We have the district health offices, the primary healthcare centers. We have also IT corporations, and also the London Digital Twin Research Center, and also a company in India on board to help us to achieve this objective. So we're very excited to kickstart this project, and we're looking forward to report back to you on the success of this project. And for that, thank you again to the British Council and the Ministry of Education, Culture and Technology for all the support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bapak Yodi. Next, still from the Going Global Partnerships, I would like to invite Professor Kim Dale from the University of Dundee. Professor Dale, the time is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm just going to actually share my screen, if that's okay. Is that working?
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So again, huge thanks to the organisers for giving us the opportunity to come and talk about this project that we have been developing with I3L Institute in Jakarta. So this is just a slide showing you where I'm calling from today. As with other UK colleagues, a fairly blustery day here in the UK, but here we are nestled on the edge of the River Tay. And so the partnership that we've been developing for the past wee while focuses on a strength of Dundee University, which is our School of Life Sciences. So where we have extraordinary strength, both in research and teaching in that discipline, particularly focused on drug discovery, pharmacology, biotechnology. And that feeds into, of course, our research-led teaching. So the partnership that we've been establishing is with, as I say, I3L, which is a premium life sciences higher education and research institute in Jakarta. And through discussions when we were visiting them back in the beginning of 2020, we discovered that we really share a very deep philosophy and pedagogy around delivery of life sciences education, and again, aligned very closely with each other's mission to deliver a really interdisciplinary education in this topic at an international level, and bringing into that collaborative research and development activities. So we focused on one particular area, that's biomedicine. And what I'm really excited about with this particular partnership is that we've brought in a third partner, and that is Combifar, which is one of the Indonesian healthcare and pharmaceutical companies. And one of the key areas and interests of Combifar is to exploit Indonesia's fantastic biodiversity in order to be able to extract therapeutic usage from using Indonesian herbal plants that have medicinal properties. So the idea would be to work together with Dundee's strength in research in this area to extract specific compounds from these plants and to be able to use them to improve healthcare in Indonesia and further afield. So the idea would be then a tripartite partnership through a TNE program where students would be able to spend part of their time in I3L, part of their time in Dundee, but then including into that this partnership with Combifar. The idea again being to upskill the local workforce in an area of real need by exploring internship programs and research collaborations. The program that we have designed looks like this. So students, as I say, would spend 2 years in I3L, come across to Dundee on the east coast of Scotland, and then undertake a research project which would be jointly designed and delivered by researchers both in Dundee and in Combifar. And of course that can go on so that students could then undertake master's programs, and even masters by research as a platform to future PGR programs. So where we are in that journey so far is that we've done the curriculum mapping. So we are at the next stage, which is now to explore and get through the UK QA and regulatory processes. We're in the very final stages of that before we can then submit our application to the Indonesian Ministry of Education. And at this point, I really want to do an absolute massive shout out and vote of thanks to the extraordinary support that we've had from British Council along every step of this way, and not least through the Going Global Partnership Grant, which we were absolutely delighted when we heard that we'd been awarded this, and that we're going to be using to support both student and staff mobility, really bridging our partnership, both in the education space, but as well as in the research space, in an area, as I say, of real need and innovation. So a massive thank you really to the British Council for the support that they've given us throughout this journey so far. Really looking forward to the next steps, and thank you so much for inviting us to be part of this really exciting initiative.
Thank you very much, Professor Dale. It is very interesting to hear from representatives from the Going Global Partnerships. Now moving on, we are going to hear from two representatives from our English Digital Innovations projects. First, we have Mike Riley from NILE. Mike will tell us about his projects with Eduversal, which focuses on professional development for pre-service and in-service English teachers working in Indonesian schools. Mike, the time is yours.
Thanks, Bria. Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm Mike. I'm the Deputy Director at NILE, and I'd like to thank the British Council for the opportunity to speak to you today. It's a great privilege. And I want to start by saying this is just one small example from the UK side of the partnerships. Please reach out to the other projects and find out what incredible impact they are going to have. I'm sure all the partners will agree with Sir Steve that one of the most exciting things about this project is the opportunity for UK institutions and Indonesia.
Sorry, Mike, I think we have problem with your audio. Can you try again?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, it's fine now. Thank you.
Did you lose all of it or just the last piece?
Just the last piece.
Okay, it must be the wind. It must be the wind here. So yeah, I was just saying we're pleased to be working with Eduversal, and we have representatives from Eduversal here today. If you don't know, Eduversal is an educational institution that provides quality training programs across Indonesia, as well as holding competitions for students at the national and international level. And as I said, I'm from NILE, which is the Norwich Institute for Language Education. We are teacher training specialists. And since 1995, we've trained over 70,000 teachers from all over the world, online and at our beautiful premises in Norwich, which you can see on the background behind me. We run a full range of programs from pre-service all the way to our MA program. And I'm pleased to say we're joined today by our consultant, Siv Sears, who is leading on the first phase of the project. As with any great love story, the question we get asked is, how did NILE and Eduversal first meet? Well, we've worked together over the last 18 months to deliver development of teaching proficiency programs to local teachers in Indonesia, which is why we're working together on this project. So what are the objectives of our project, which is about localizing content for global competence? The idea is very simple. We're taking 3 of our established NILE online courses, and with the help of Eduversal, creating localized versions with Indonesian case studies, Indonesian videos, and other adaptations to reflect the Indonesian reality. We hope to capitalize on the lessons NILE has learned by delivering these courses to thousands of teachers globally and incorporating that local expertise to make sort of 3 truly unique courses. For each course, we will then run a pilot with a small group of local teachers to see how effective it is and whether we need to make more tweaks. And hopefully the first pilot will launch next month. And that will be our classroom activities, interactions and motivation course, which offers in-depth consideration of the factors involved in choosing and adapting classroom activities, which we hope will appeal to pre-service and early service teachers. The other 2 courses will focus on digital pedagogy and testing and assessment literacy. So in a year's time, we hope that we will have localized and piloted versions of these 3 courses, and we will then pass on all the materials and trainer notes and guidance on low-tech solutions, as Hugh mentioned, to the British Council to allow for their introduction on a much larger scale. So in terms of our hoped for outcomes, fundamentally, we want it to be possible that these courses are available potentially to every state school teacher in Indonesia. Hopefully, they can be made available to universities to incorporate into initial teacher training programs, and all 3 courses could become a part of the continuing professional development of teachers across Indonesia. And the beauty, as we've said, is that they are being crafted specifically for Indonesian teachers and taking into account the guidance and innovations from the Ministry of Education. The great thing is that this is just one of many fantastic projects in the partnership. And we hope another outcome, as Helen said, is that we will work closely with the other partnerships, collaborating where possible to create something that will have a truly long-lasting legacy in Indonesia. And rather selfishly, another outcome of the project is that already at NILE, we are learning lots from Eduversal about Indonesian teachers and the reality there. And that's very exciting and satisfying for us. So thanks for that. I know all the UK partners are excited and honoured to be part of the project. So a huge thanks to the British Council for allowing us to be involved. And we hope teachers in Indonesia will reap the benefits of all these innovations and collaborations for many years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike, for the introduction to the project. And last but not least, we will hear from Dr. Nurmala Simbolon from Politeknik Negeri Pontianak in Kalimantan. Ibu Nurmala, the time is yours.
Thank you, Maria. Okay. Good afternoon and good morning to distinguished participants in this webinar. At first, I would like to introduce my colleagues in this project. The project leader is Nicola. She and some other team members are from the University of Glasgow, and one is from the University of Reading, Karisahan. And from Indonesian side, we do have from Pontianak State Polytechnic and one from State Polytechnic of Malang, Hilda Cahyani. All right. Higher education has made English medium instruction or EMI, I'll call it as onward, to go global. Research shows that this ongoing global of EMI is context specific, which implies a need for facilitation and support for Indonesian educational context. Aligning with the Indonesian Ministry of Education Research and Technology initiatives to respond to global competition through the internationalization of higher education, a consortium of international program at vocational higher education, or DIXI, was launched recently. And this is one step forward to quality education, a key praise that highlighted by our DG, Vocational Education, Bapak Wikan Sakarinto, when referring to international program. Other research also shows that collaboration between ELT lecturers and EMI content specialists is key to the success of EMI implementation. Thus, this global practice of EMI has made English education become vital. These points have encapsulated the objective of this project that aims to develop tailor-made teacher professional development, or TPD, resources to support English medium instruction practitioners, both content lecturers and ELT lecturers, in Indonesian vocational university, thus highlighting a context specific of TPD. In addition to our platform, we hope that the MOOC may be shared on the new Indonesian Cyber Education Platform, or IC. So from this project, we also set the outcomes in 3 main areas. They are infrastructure, capacity, and community. For the infrastructure, the project is to set an online database for EMI and ELT teaching resources and delivery of massive open online course, or MOOC. This database design is preceded by a need analysis survey, which is planned to be administered to EMI practitioners of vocational higher education, in particular the consortium members. The project also is to create a design and delivery of professional development program with low-tech alternative, which is planned to pilot to several lecturers. And finally, this project is expected to establish a collaborative network of EMI and ELT practitioners and researchers in Indonesian higher education. And this community of practice would be an oasis for collaboration through engagement of key stakeholders, even policymakers at the Indonesian Ministry of Education, Research and Technology. Within this project, we have some made efforts to work together with other projects funded by British Council as well. For example, with Polybatam teams, we have initiated the communication on planning to share some questions on the survey, as we do have some similar participants later on. And we also plan to recruit 1 consultant or 2 from the other project awardee to create MOOC resource. This might be from the University of Indonesia. And to summarize the overview of our project, I would like to highlight that upon the completion of this project, all EMI lecturers are expected to use these MOOC materials. Well, that's all I can share about our project. Thank you very much for the support given to us. Hand back to you, Maria. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Nurmala. And thank you to all our project representatives who have given us an insight into your projects and what you'll be working on together this year and next year. Now, finally, I would like to invite Colm Downs, Director English Education and Society at the British Council Indonesia, to give some closing remarks. Colm, over to you.
Thank you very much, Maria, and good afternoon to everybody in Indonesia and good morning to everybody in the UK. We've done very well. We're ahead of schedule. I thought we would be pushed for time. We scheduled this grand opening launch for 1 hour. I'd like to sincerely thank the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology for their strong support, and especially to Bapak Irwan Shahril for launching our English Digital Innovation Grants in September and for formally launching the selected grants in that area, and also the Going Global Partnership grants today. And I'd especially like to thank Sir Steve Smith, the UK's international education champion, for his strong commitment to supporting partnerships between Indonesia and the UK. But this webinar is really for all of you, the people who are going to make it happen in different organizations and universities and institutions in Indonesia and the UK, but all education specialists and professionals in Indonesia and the UK who have tuned in and registered for this webinar. One thing I'd like to say is a little bit more about how you may be able to get involved, or what's really in it for you. At the British Council here in Indonesia, I'm the director for English. So for our English programs, I would say that we have 8 projects. And all 8 of these projects, over the next 15 months, there are going to be some quite large scale piloting of new resources, both for English teachers working in schools and for English lecturers or EMI lecturers in universities. And there may be opportunities to be involved in the pilot, the creation stage, where these materials are designed and tested. But what's really in it for everybody is that through these English digital innovation grants, as Mike said from Nile and Umala from Pontianak, is that we are designing these resources so that in 15 months, we can make them available to everybody for free. So we will be sharing them with universities, with schools, putting our digital innovation, our courses on platforms with support of the Ministry of Education to make these resources available to everyone. The other thing I wanted to emphasize is around obviously we've said it's a digital innovation grant. We are extremely excited by the opportunities that innovations in technology are enabling. We're all here together online, for example, right now, but we're also acutely aware of the need to support teachers and learners in rural and remote areas that possibly don't have a strong internet connection, or maybe don't have enough data package in order to have a connect as easily as others in cities like I am in Jakarta. And so for that reason, we are throughout these projects looking at ways in which we can make digital innovations low tech, in some cases even no tech, which may be, for example, putting a course onto a USB stick so that some teachers in a rural or remote area can access that. So we are trying to make sure that digital innovations can be both reduce inequality in education and not lead to exacerbating it in any way. And ongoing global partnerships, which are led by my colleague Mohaimin, who's on the call at the British Council. It's tremendously exciting to see new transnational education programs developing between British universities and higher education institutions and leading higher education institutions here in Indonesia, whether they're at the early stages of that process of curriculum mapping or scoping areas in East Java, or if they're a little bit further along in that process, as with the University of Dundee and L3I. I think I knew I was going to get that slightly wrong, but fantastically exciting. I've been in Indonesia now for almost 7 years, and along with Hugh, I think that we are tremendously lucky to be working in this incredible country that, you know, the importance of which is growing every day, and more British universities want to partner with Indonesia for its diversity, its culture, its history, its science, its entrepreneurialism, and there are more and more Indonesian students who we hope will go to the UK and build connections in that direction too. So we at the British Council here in Jakarta, along with our colleagues at the embassy, are very proud of these projects. We look forward to supporting these projects throughout the next couple of years in order to make sure that they're successful. And we very much hope that we'll be announcing new opportunities in the next couple of months. So keep an eye out on our website, on our social media channels, because I think there are already some live requests for proposals for some new research projects. And so this is just the beginning. And it is the beginning because today is the official launch. And so I think it was Bapak Iwan's moment that he was formally announcing that all of these projects are now launched. And so that's it. So if you haven't already got started, then this is the time to get started. And we look forward to hearing from you regularly about how everything is going. Thank you very much for joining today's webinar. And I'm going to hand back to Maria now for her closing remarks as our wonderful host. Thank you.
Thank you, Colm, for your closing remarks. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached at the end of our events today. But before I close, I would like to once again thank Sir Steve Smith and Bapak Iwan Syahril and the Ministry of Education for your continuous support. And I would also like to thank all the partners of the 16 selected projects that have been launched today We wish all the projects the very best of luck, and we look forward to supporting these projects to help ensure their success. And finally, a special thank you to everyone joining us today from across Indonesia and the UK. I hope you enjoyed this event, and we look forward to seeing you in our future events, both online and hopefully soon in person too. So take care, everyone, and see you next time.